There is a unique and agonizing pain that comes with being wronged, but there is a second, deeper wound that is inflicted when the person who hurt you shows no remorse. They don't apologize. They may deny what they did. Or worse, they may not even see that they did anything wrong at all, and you are left holding the full weight of the pain, the injustice, and the anger all by yourself. It can feel like you are stuck in a prison of their making. The wound can't heal because there is no closure. And the idea of forgiving them can feel utterly impossible, even wrong. A voice in your heart screams, "How can I forgive them when they aren't even sorry?" Forgiving them would be like saying what they did was okay. It would be letting them win. It would be a profound injustice. If you are wrestling with this heavy, complicated burden today, I want to first validate your feelings. Your sense of injustice is real, your pain is legitimate, and the path forward is not one of simple platitudes. But there is a path to freedom, a path that God offers, not to excuse the person who hurt you, but to unchain you from the pain they have caused. We have a deep misconception about forgiveness. We believe it is a transaction that requires two parties. We think it works like this. They offer an apology, and in return, we grant them forgiveness. But what happens when the first part of that transaction never comes? The biblical truth is that Christian forgiveness is not a transaction. It is a unilateral act of liberation. It is a choice you make, not for their sake, but for yours. The most powerful and painful example of this is found on a hill called Calvary. As Jesus was hanging on the cross, being mocked, tortured, and murdered, he looked down at the soldiers who were gambling for his clothes, at the religious leaders who were jeering at him, at the crowd that had screamed for his crucifixion. None of them was sorry. They were in the very act of their horrific, unrepentant sin. And from the cross, Jesus prayed a prayer that changed the world. "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Let the weight of that sink in. Their repentance was not a prerequisite for his forgiveness. His forgiveness was not dependent on their apology. In their moment of greatest evil, he chose to release them into the hands of the Father. He was not excusing their sin. He was modeling for all eternity that true, divine forgiveness is a choice that flows from the heart of the forgiver, independent of the actions or attitude of the offender. This is the standard we are called to, not by our own strength, but by his. In Colossians chapter 3, Paul writes, "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." How did the Lord forgive you and me? Romans 5:8 tells us, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this. While we were still sinners, Christ died for us." He forgave us while we were his enemies. While we were unrepentant, he made the first move. Our forgiveness of others, even the unrepentant, is meant to be a small reflection of that scandalous grace. So what does this kind of forgiveness actually look like? It is crucial to understand what it is and what it is not. First, forgiveness is not forgetting. The wound was real, and the memory will likely remain. Forgetting a deep betrayal can be impossible. But forgiveness is the choice to remove the power and the sting from that memory. It's choosing to no longer let that memory produce bitterness, rage, or a desire for revenge in your heart. Second, forgiveness is not reconciliation. Reconciliation requires two willing and repentant parties who are committed to rebuilding trust. You can unilaterally forgive someone in your heart, but that does not mean you are required to trust them again or restore them to their former place in your life, especially if they are unrepentant and continue in their harmful behavior. In fact, maintaining healthy boundaries can be the wisest and most loving thing to do. Third, and most importantly, forgiveness is not excusing their behavior. It is not saying, "What you did was okay." It was not okay. It was wrong. Instead, forgiveness is saying this: "What you did was so wrong, so painful, that I, as a flawed human being, am not qualified to be your judge. The burden of holding this grudge, of seeking revenge, is too heavy for me to carry. So I am consciously choosing to take you off of my hook, and I am hanging you on God's hook. I am releasing you into the hands of the only truly righteous judge, and I will trust him to deal with you perfectly. Do you see the freedom in that? You are not letting them get away with it. You are transferring their case from your flawed, emotional courtroom to the high court of heaven. The truth is, unforgiveness is a poison you drink, hoping the other person will die. It keeps you chained to the very person who hurt you, allowing them to continue to inflict pain upon you long after the original offense. Forgiveness is the act of setting a prisoner free, only to discover that the prisoner you set free was you. This is one of the hardest things God will ever ask you to do. It will feel unfair. Your flesh will scream for justice. And you may have to make the choice to forgive every single day for a very long time. It is a process, not a one-time event. But it is the only path to peace. Today, you can make a choice. You can choose to hand over the heavy, jagged rock of unforgiveness to God. You can choose to release the person who hurt you from the prison of your heart and into the hands of the one who judges justly. You can choose to be free.